Hello and welcome to Retrotainment Recast. This is a tough one, but we have the
You might you
champion.
might say you might say impossible.
I like what you
Yeah,
did there,
yeah.
but that is the champion Greg going up against the future champ, as he says on his tag
Yeah.
here. Ted, how are you doing, lads?
Not too bad.
We're
An
here.
easier turnaround than the last one with Top Gun, I have to say.
Yeah, two Tom Cruise films in a row, but it's very hard to split them. Let's be honest, both of these are very good films.
Both
They're
very good. I would definitely put Top Gun over Mission Impossible. That's not to put
Yeah,
Mission Impossible down. I just prefer Top Gun.
fair.
they're probably his two best, really.
They're definitely
Uh,
up there. Yeah.
yeah,
They'd be up there.
no, sorry, A Few Good Men as well.
True.
But in terms of these were the only ones that were really franchisable, if that's even a word.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah,
What they tried with the mummy and that, but
we won't talk about that. That was a disaster.
that was awful. Um, but this was a fun one to do. I quite enjoyed it, and it was good to rewatch.
Yeah.
Great. Isn't it?
I hadn't watched this in years, so it was really good to go back and rewatch it.
How much?
It's mad to think it was '96 and they're
Yeah.
still
Mad,
making them. You know,
mad to think that Emilio Estevez was
In
uncredited
this.
in this. Like, and he, at the start he looks like he's going to be a major player, and he's just uncredited completely.
true. I did actually recast him as well.
Oh.
when we were doing it, because I was just like, I was
Did you
just like,
cast him with Charlie Sheen?
no, I cast him with Jason Segal.
That'd be a good show if it was a character pick.
I was
I
like,
tell you,
yeah,
he gets a rough following, doesn't he?
he does.
He does, but unfortunately he was uncredited, so he couldn't
Yes,
be included
true.
in our recast.
Very true. So we'll start off here. Greg, why
Would
don't you?
you send in the old photos?
Yes,
Send in the old photos.
get those
3,
photos in, lads.
2,
Get the photos
1.
in.
There you go. Sent in.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Right.
Okay,
Here we go.
champ. Why don't you start us off with Eugene Kittredge, Henry Kazarni?
Um,
I hope that's the pronunciation of his name. I do apologize.
It's
not.
definitely not Kazarni. I know I called him Kazarni earlier, but
Shirley or something it would be, wouldn't it?
if you do happen to be watching this, Kittredge, and we did butcher your name, we do apologise.
but he's been compared to the great Kazarni of WWE fame,
Jesus.
So
Oh, Jesus.
I went with David Harbour here, obviously from Stranger Things,
Okay.
and about 15 other movies in post production. And was it Black Widow as well, wasn't it?
Black Widow, yeah.
he's in Black Widow, yeah.
He's also Hellboy
No, Ron Perlman was Hellboy.
in the new Hellboy.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
Either.
No, I didn't either.
I didn't
watch
even
it, but
know he was down there.
I know he was Hellboy.
No, thanks. I had enough with the first ones.
Same. Terrible at movies.
Yeah. I went similar to Greg here in aging this character up, because they had this character as, like, the actor was very young.
Did you
True.
notice the ages in this are all madly askew for some of the people? Like John Voight and his wife, there's years between them again.
Yeah, like there's
That's
a big
just John Voight.
yeah, there's a big gap between them. But then you look at, like, Ethan Page, who's meant to be like the young kind of hotshot, like Tom Cruise's character, he's kind of the young
Ethan
hotshot.
Hawke or Hunt.
Or sorry, Ethan Hunt, sorry, and he's the young hotshot. Do you know what I mean? But then Kittredge is literally 3 years older than him in real life. Do you know what I mean?
True.
Like, it's very close in age. So I
They're all really in the 30s for the most part, or the four main characters, really. Or
Yeah.
four of the main characters were in the 30s.
yeah. So I aged Kittredge up as well. I aged him up a little bit more, and it was actually having gone to see the new Top Gun when I seen this person in a very similar role. I was like, I think this is perfect. John Hamm.
John Hamm's a good actor, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's a great actor.
This is the
I've used him a couple of times in this.
he
Same.
plays this sort of role in Top Gun, the kind of straight-laced, commanding officer that no one really wants to listen to. So for me, that's what was the selling point for me.
I think I did age up myself a little bit, and I went with Mark Strong.
Mark
Yeah.
Strong is a great actor as well.
Yeah,
He's
I love
very
Mark Strong.
underrated.
Yeah.
He was actually one of my
You've
my
used him
backup
before.
picks for Professor X when we done X-Men.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I do
I love
remember
Mark
that.
Strong. I think he's great.
Yeah.
He's very underrated. Like he doesn't get enough parts that he should get a lot more. Yeah, that might be him not going for them, but
True. I think he was fantastic in Kingsman.
it was about the only good thing of it.
I loved Kingsman.
No, was he talking about the new one?
No.
Oh no, so he was in the original, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in the first.
So yeah.
Two really good picks there.
Yeah.
Two very good picks. But I think I'll have to go for John Hamm there.
I'd probably agree with that.
I think when I know you haven't seen Top Gun Maverick yet, Greg, but I think when you see that would just tip you over the edge. If you'd seen that, I think we would have had the same pick here.
Even without seeing Top Gun Maverick, just John Hamm himself.
No, John Hamm is great himself, but I think having seen him in Top Gun in basically this role, I think if we'd all seen it and thought it, we would have probably gone with him. Like,
yeah, that's fair. That's a good pick though.
And next up, let's go for Max, Vanessa Redgrave's character.
yes, the local arms dealer.
That does nothing really.
Yeah, it doesn't really do a whole lot, but needs to be strong.
You wouldn't
character.
want to.
Don't want to get on our bad side. Yeah.
You wouldn't get on our bad side at all.
Yeah, and that's the way I kind of looked at this. I said you kind of need a strong female character here.
Yeah.
This was the one I actually had quite a few names down for. So as backups, I had Carrie-Anne Moss, who I think could do that role quite well. Katie Segal, who I think can hold her own.
Katie Segal.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, who everyone knows that she can come across as quite strong, and it's not a hugely not the
taxing role.
Yeah, it's like not a taxing role. It's quite easy, but I went with someone I've used quite a few times for roles like this in Lena Headey, who I think she's just fantastic for these strong female roles.
Okay.
Don't know if I overly like that pick.
I preferred a couple of your backups. I'm not going to lie.
I was thinking about them, but I just
Carrie-Anne Moss would have been a show.
Yeah,
Carrie-Anne Moss is a great show.
I was thinking of her, but I think Lena Headey is just so good for this type of role, because there's not a lot of screen time, so it's more about the presence you give off. I felt, and I think she gives off a very strong presence.
Fair.
I went with Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore, okay, yeah.
Straight in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had thought of Helen Mirren, and I was like, she may be a bit too old to be an arms dealer.
I think she probably would have been too old because
she pretty much plays that character in Fast and Furious, but we're not trying to make a Fast and Furious movie here.
No, we're making a good movie here.
Exactly. This is the person I thought you were choosing, Ted, when you said that you've used this person quite a few times before. I went with Helena Bonham Carter.
I did think of her as well, but I think she might not like how small the role is, was kind of my thought when.
To be fair to her, she picks up random roles.
She does. I do agree, but that I just kind of thought, I don't know, she'd like this one.
I'm gonna have to even that up there. We'll go one piece. As I said, if you put down Carrie-Anne Moss, you had that win.
Yeah,
I'd have given you that too.
Yeah, I think I did have her down for a good while, and then I was like, I just always felt Lena Headey as having less to say when she's just kind of sitting there is a more kind of intimidating character, which is what this character is meant to be. Is what it is.
True. Where do you want to go next? We going Jean, John, or Emmanuel? So Franz, Jim, or Claire?
Claire, probably.
Go Claire next. Claire Phelps, Emmanuel Beer.
Yeah.
It makes sense, and then because the rest of them all kind of play a bigger part.
True.
To an extent.
What way did you go here, Greg?
I went back to Game of Thrones. I went with Natalie Dormer here.
Natalie Dormer?
Yeah. I always found this character, even when I was growing up, she was extremely annoying. And Natalie Dormer comes across as that. Now, I was going to use Amanda Seyfried because she really annoys me. But I think Natalie Dormer's a better actor. And like she has a lot of screen time in this as well.
True.
Yeah, that's my pick anyway.
Ted?
I went with one of Greg's kind of picks for this.
Robbie.
No, Blake Lively. I think this character is the way they sell the character, and you know, even later on in the film when Jim kind of alludes to the fact that, oh, I thought she'd be able to seduce you. So she's meant to be kind of quite a good-looking character, but not, you know, so over the top either.
She's no Margot Robbie, basically.
Yeah, like, you know, like it's not like, oh, she's over the top good looking, but she's, you know, she's meant to be there as kind of a seductress. I think Blake Lively would do that quite well. I will say I did keep the age gap here. Because I felt that kind like her character seems like quite a nice person, but seems like she's kind of been tricked by somebody older, and she does seem to have fallen for Ethan by the end of it, and then, you know, gets popped.
Just checking the age difference between the two. I know it doesn't really make a difference, but
the age difference was 25 years.
No, I'm talking about the Natalie Dormer and Blake Lively.
Oh, sorry.
Probably about 7 or 8 years.
6 years. I didn't know Natalie Dormer was 40. She definitely doesn't look it.
No.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That might save me a bit more with my pick later on.
I did go with a Game of Thrones actor, but it wasn't Natalie Dormer. I went with Emilia Clarke.
I had Emilia Clarke down, and then I said, Carl fucking despises Emilia Clarke, so I'm not going to...
Where's the eyebrows?
I said, Carl despises her, so he will not use her, and there's no point in putting her down, because if I put her down, Carl's going to hate that pick so much, I'm going to lose this fucking point.
Ted, you were trying to play the game. You didn't go for the pick.
I don't know. I still think Blake Lively's a very good pick for that as well. But yeah, I was like, if it had been Greg, I might. See, I don't know if Greg's overly sold on Emilia Clarke either. So I
don't mind her.
I like her, but I don't know if you're overly sold on her either. So I was like, I don't know if she'd be a strong pick either way. But I knew Carl really doesn't like her as an actress.
I don't mind her, just the eyebrows annoy me.
Every time.
I'm gonna have to give it to Greg. To be honest, I'm gonna have to give it to Natalie Dormer. They are both very good picks. It's a pick 'em. All three of these so far have been pretty much pick 'ems.
My only thing, like, I actually did think Natalie Dormer at one point as well, but I think she looks more like mischievous, which is not kind of how this character came across at all. You know, like as a watcher, you're kind of like,
I just think she looks annoying as fuck.
She, like, when I was like, even the first time I watched it, I was like, she looks like she could be in on it, and like you should guess that she's in on it, because the whole time they're like, if you survived, then you must be the mole. So she survived, he should be suspecting her straight away.
Yeah.
But Natalie Dormer always looks kind of, you know, I think she looks like she'd be mischievous. So he'd have been more likely to suspect her, was why I didn't go with her.
It's fair. I'm giving it to Natalie, but it's a close one.
These have been 3 absolute bangers so far.
Yeah.
You know, they've been 3 real tough ones so far, lads. You aren't making it easy on the judge this week.
Impossible, one might say.
Yeah. Now the next 2, we're doing Jim Phelps and Franz Krieger next, and these are my 2 favorite picks that I've done myself.
Okay.
We'll start off with Franz Krieger, Jean Reno.
What a man! What a man!
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, a little, you know, kind of a psychopath is kind of like, that's basically his character. He's just a bit insane. You know,
just like
you know, he obviously Ethan goes out to get people who've been kind of disavowed from the service, and this is the person he gets, and you're like, I can see why this guy was fucking turfed
Because
out.
he's a loop to loop.
Yeah,
I think I know who you might be going with.
With Luther, you're like, yeah, okay, he got kicked out because he's a hacker, yeah, and he's a bit of a risk taker. With this guy, I was like, this guy's just fucking insane. Like, so I had two people down kind of for most of it. There was one I had down and I kind of ruled out fairly quick in David Tennant. I think he could do the role well, but I don't know if I buy him as dangerous as that.
Yeah.
Carl Urban was the other backup I had, who I think would be quite good at it.
Good show.
Yeah, good show.
I went with somebody else who I don't think you boys are a massive fan of using this person, but I went with Theo Rossi, obviously from Sons of Anarchy, and then he's in Luke Cage as well, and he's kind of a similar character in that, a bit of a madman, who seems intent on killing as many people as he can, but sneaky as well.
Fair. And Greg?
I went with Vincent Castle. Cassell, whatever you say his name. He was obviously in The Bourne Identity and whatnot. He's a good actor. Pretty sure he's French as well. Or he's Canadian French, one or the other.
Let me just double check.
What's this? Carl has to check somebody.
Yeah, the name's not. Oh, yes. He was your man in Ocean's 12.
Ocean's 12, yeah, that's the other one, yeah.
Would him being in the Bourne Identity, like the way that, like, I always look as Mission Impossible and Bourne Identity as kind of being the rival
No.
things. I've always looked at them as that way, like, because they're both basically the same type of film, and they both came out in and around the same time.
No, they didn't. Bourne Identity came out in 2005 or something, 2006.
No, it was early 2000s.
Definitely wasn't that late, was
it? It was early 2000s, 2002, 2003.
Well, even then, that's still 7 years later.
Yeah.
Supposed to be recasting it for now.
It's true.
This is a tough one. Again, fuck you, lads. I went with Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Why did I change it? Like,
oh, really?
The only reason I didn't pick him was because you know that scene when they're in the vent.
Yeah. Yes, we
and he kills the mouse. He spins, kills the mouse, and then is able to grab the rope again to stop. Obviously, Tom Cruise hitting the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, he might just be a little too big to do that.
I'm gonna level this up again, 2-2.
Oh yes, I'm glad. I think that's the first time I've used Theo Rossi and actually won. I think I've used him a few times and never managed to win with him.
True. Right, we move on to John Voight, Jim Phelps. Greg.
Tough one here.
Yep. I was very happy with my pick.
I had a couple.
Okay.
I had Kurt Russell. Bit too old.
Stopped acting as well, hasn't he?
Yes, he's retired.
Okay, I didn't use him, so I had Kevin Costner.
Okay.
And then I settled on Willem Dafoe.
Okay.
Who plays the sniveling kind of weasel in a lot of films.
He's a scientist.
He's a mad scientist.
I think that's it. That's it, isn't it? I'm a scientist too.
Rumor has it that he has a flying hoverboard. Just rumor has it.
I love him in Boondock Saints. I think that's one of his best roles.
He's a bit of a scientist.
I love him in Interview with a Vampire, Shadow Vampire. He plays Max Shrek, and people actually thought he was a vampire.
Shrek?
Right.
Yeah. Very good.
What way did you go here, Ted, yourself?
I had two people. So the first name I had down was Alec Baldwin, who I think kind of looks similar-ish to John Voight in like build and stuff.
If you had chosen him, you would have lost right away.
Yeah, no, and I didn't.
Alec Baldwin.
Because he's a major part in future
I know,
Mission
yeah,
Impossible movies.
which is also why I didn't pick him.
He's a major part in what?
In future Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, but
Oh, is he?
they don't
Yeah.
exist in.
They don't, but it's
You know what I
taking
mean? Like,
someone from a future movie.
yeah, but it's taking them and taking them out of the role they were to start
know,
them here.
yeah.
You know, I went with somebody like, for me, obviously the age difference between this character and his wife, you kind of, and I don't know how they got away with, like, I don't
It
know
was
how
the
John
90s.
Voight. I
It
don't know
was
how
the 90s.
no, but I don't know how John Voight convinced them that, like, yeah, I should have like a good-looking younger wife here who's going to, you know, trick him, because you'd get it if, you know, it's if the older guy is kind of a bit of a silver fox or whatever, which is not how I think
But
anybody.
it's not John Voight.
That's not how people are describing John Voight. So I went with someone who kind of would be in that category.
Please tell me we should have cast Angelina Jolie as Claire.
That would have worked because, yeah, Brad Pitt.
No, that's not the reason I was talking about. Obviously, John Voight's our dad.
I know, yeah, but I went with Brad Pitt, who I think could play this role
Don't
quite
like
well.
that.
I'm not keen on that one now, to be
Don't
honest.
like that.
Do you not think so? I think Brad Pitt
No.
could be quite a good bad guy, and, you know, faking his own death.
I love Brad Pitt, but he's not a great actor.
There's not a huge amount of acting in this. He dies relatively.
No.
He dies relatively quickly at the start. Then he meets
Like
him at the
his
fucking
best role
thing.
by far was when he won
Benjamin
his
Button.
Oscar. He was great in Benjamin Button, but when he won his Oscar for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
That was phenomenal movie.
you know, that was his best role by far. But
Oh,
other than that,
seven was pretty good.
yeah, there's a lot of overacting in that as well.
There is.
Possibly, I don't know. The way I looked at it is, he is very good as, you know, as an action star. I think he does quite well as an action star. He's the bad guy. This role isn't a huge acting role, to be honest, because he dies quite early.
It's true.
He meets up with him in the cafe or whatever it was, and then he tries to shoot him on the train. That's like, if you can't, like,
Red light,
you're
green
not-
light.
you're not asking for a huge amount of acting in this, and I do think Brad Pitt could do this very well. And I think he kind of suits what they should have gone for originally, with the kind of, you know, an older guy who's meant to at least be good looking to, you know, have attracted the younger wife and convinced her to do this.
Who I went with myself, I went with Ralph Fiennes.
Show.
Yeah. See, I was very happy with my picks for this movie. If I wasn't the judge, I think I would have done pretty well. But yeah, Ralph Fiennes I thought was a good shout here. I am going to have to go for Willem Dafoe. I do like the arguments for Brad Pitt, but 3-2. This has been a topsy-turvy one, lads. It's gone swung
It's
one,
kinda-
then the other way, and then the other way.
Against. Oh no, I won 2 in a row. I was gonna say it's gone against the person that had it every time.
Yeah, it's literally gone 1-0 up, 2-1,
Yeah,
2-2, and then back to 3-2. It's
been a good one. Yeah,
been a good
This is now a game of FIFA here.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually very happy with the Brad Pitt pick. I'm surprised neither of you actually like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't see him doing it.
See, I was thinking of him from, like,
to be honest.
I was thinking of him from things like Fight Club, which I think he does very well in that.
He's brilliant. He's good in Fight Club.
I
Yeah.
think he's good in that. I think he's good in Ocean's 11 for that sort of role. Like, I was kind of looking at those sort of roles from him, like Snatch. Again, nobody can tell me he doesn't play a fucking fantastic role in Snatch either.
Fair.
So, like, I don't know where this thing of him not being a good actor has come from.
Okay, he's not saying that he's a good actor, but he's not elite or great.
Would
He's
you
a good actor.
Is John Voight elite?
He might have been at that stage.
I don't know if John Voight is considered an elite actor, and this role definitely didn't call for an elite actor, which is why this is why I looked at it that way. Whereas, like,
I do get it, but even so, I think Willem Dafoe would do that role great.
yeah, no, I'm not saying that he wouldn't, but I'm just saying I can't believe you two are so anti Brad Pitt.
I like Brad Pitt, I really do. It's just, okay, maybe I'm being a bit too harsh, but for this role, I think Willem Dafoe would suit the role better than Brad Pitt would.
Yeah. I won't accept Brad Pitt being
I
said as a
will.
bad actor.
I will retract my statement. Brad Pitt is not a bad actor.
Yeah, thank you. I wasn't having that.
But we'll move on, and you're going to need to win this one, Ted, to keep it alive going into the final.
Yeah, I don't know about this one.
We'll go with
Hello,
Luther.
draw. Please draw.
Luther Stickle. Stick out.
What a name.
Where they say it.
Yeah.
What a name.
Ving Rhames' character.
This is such a weird character. Like, I have no idea why Ving Rhames is cast as this character.
It's just a muscle, really, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's the muscle, but does nothing that would require muscle.
Yeah.
He's a computer
He's the intimidating
hacker.
looking guy, but he's also the computer guy.
But he doesn't intimidate anybody at all.
I know.
Like, they've picked this really big, intimidating guy, and then they're like, but literally, we want you to sit to the side, always be a little bit scared of absolutely everyone, and just be good with computers. Like, Ving Rhames, insane that he went with Ving Rhames. The only reason I can guess is for name value.
Name value, and I don't know, he looks cool.
Yeah, and
I think it was a troll, really, wasn't it? You see the big guy coming off the helicopter.
Yeah.
Like, he's the muscle. What is he?
Yeah.
He's a computer guy.
Yeah, and I think that probably, and
that's how I recast myself. That's how I recast it. It was just like I was looking for someone.
I went with something similar. Yeah. So I had two people here. So one of them was Mike Coulter.
Who we've cast as Ving Rhames before.
Yeah, and because we've kind of used him as Ving Rhames, I was like, I don't know if I want to use him again as Ving Rhames.
Exactly, yeah.
So I went with someone who's starting to build up a name for themselves in John Boyega, who's still quite a big guy. I think he could come off as quite intimidating if he needed to be.
Ted's got a horn on for John Boyega.
He does indeed. I think you've used John Boyega more than anyone else.
I don't think I have. I think you guys think I have.
I know he's been used an awful lot.
I think you guys have used him as well.
Oh, I've used him.
I don't think I've used him as much
as
you. I think he's been used quite a lot on this show, but I don't think any of us have used him a huge amount of times. It's just been spread out that we've used him.
It's true. It's been a while since we've used him as well, though, I think.
I think it has been a while since he's been used.
I think it's been a month or two, to be honest.
Happy days.
I do think he comes across as, he could be an
intimidating
guy, and you would believe him to be like, yeah, that guy could be good with computers.
Yeah.
I went obvious choice here. Name, stature, build, Idris Elba.
Okay.
He's either not happy with either of our choices.
He is not.
I have a feeling he's not too happy with either of them.
Wait, I went with Winston Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the three names really that kind of fit in there were Duke, Coulter, and Idris Elba being an absolute unit. I was actually looking. I was going to put in Michael B. Jordan.
I was thinking Michael B. Jordan at one stage,
but I was like, no. I was like, he'll take too much of the look away from.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise. Well, or whoever.
Only. Okay, I know age doesn't really play a difference too much in these roles, but the main couple of characters, they're all pretty at a similar age.
Mm-hmm.
Idris Elba is almost 15 years older than what Tom Cruise was at the time.
But Ving Rhames was older.
Ving Rhames is 3 years older than him.
Ving Rhames is only 3 years older. Yeah, Ving Rhames is only 3 years older.
Lot older.
He might look older, Greg, but he's only 3 years older than Tom Cruise.
Yeah. it's one of the life's mysteries how Tom Cruise looks so good at his age, to be honest. And Ving Rhames looks so awful.
Rumor has it that he eats the souls of children.
That's why he runs all the time, and so it keeps him young.
Well, I mean, he could do what Will Smith does as well. He does an awful lot of running in movies.
It's nowhere near as Tom Cruise. I think he actually has it written in all his contracts that he has to have a solo shot of running.
Loves running.
It's genuine.
Loves running.
Same, Brad Pitt has the oral fixation. Tom Cruise has the running thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to give this to John Boyega.
Oh, ties it up into
Ties
the
it up.
last.
Literally, this match has been going.
I have a bad feeling about this one because I have a very strong feeling we might have both gone for the same person for Ethan Hunt.
And if you have, it'll be finally someone else will feel the pain of losing.
Yeah,
on
to a
Champions
draw.
Advantage.
Oh no, it wasn't. You lost one to me on the bounce, and you lost one to Ted on the bounce, didn't you?
Yeah,
I think I lost 3 times on Champions Advantage.
I think he lost twice to me.
Twice in a row. And
Yeah.
then, yeah.
The double draw at the end of Predator.
Oh, don't remind me.
And every one of us thought were on to a winner with Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, I've got the winner here, Jason Momoa. Bollocks. That was a good one.
So, the lad himself, Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt. Which way did you go, champ? I'll call you champ while you have the chance.
I have a bad feeling he might be keeping it.
We'll find out now. I went with a Marvel character here. Uh-oh. Ted's face has just gone. He's gone Marvel too.
Yeah.
I went with an Avenger. And I went with Chris Evans.
No.
Captain America himself.
It is a good choice. That is not who I went with, so it won't be coming down.
I know exactly who you've gone with then.
I went with his counterpart.
Yeah,
Sebastian Stan. Yeah, who's just on the rise now, knocking it out.
My backup.
Yeah, knocking it out of the park. Everything he does.
Okay.
He's a better Tommy Lee than Tommy Lee is.
Well, those two were both backups for me.
So Carl's got one that's going to knock this well out of the park here.
I went with Adam Driver.
No.
Nope.
No.
He doesn't knock it out of the park. Drops it
He
off.
knocked it out. He rolled out.
Knocked it back into your hands.
Honestly, that was one that I wasn't too keen on, to be honest.
I think you'd have been probably 5-1 up at this stage. No, you wouldn't. You've been 4-2. Ted had a couple of crackers early on.
John Hamm, I think, would have got me my point.
I think Chris Evans is a bit cleaner than Sebastian Stan.
Two very good picks, as I said. They were my two backups.
I don't think that's ever happened, has it?
Yeah, you can't fall back to your. Well, I had them as my backup either here because you.
Exactly, they were literally my two backups. And the only reason I can pick who I'm picking to win is because I did have the first one originally, and then I knocked him out for the second one, and then I knocked him out for Adam Driver, which was probably a bad decision anyway.
It definitely was a bad decision, yes.
So I am going with Chris Evans.
The champ wins it at the end.
I did think Chris Evans myself at one point. I thought Chris Pratt at one point, but I said, "Who is?"
I don't like that one.
I don't like Chris Pratt.
I didn't like Chris Pratt for this one either, and I just said, "Who's the one that's really knocking it out of the park at the moment?" And it just seems to be Sebastian Stan for me. Yeah. I think
Sebastian Stan's great. Don't get me wrong.
I think if you were a Hollywood director and you were like, right, I need someone to be the main character of this that I'm going to build a franchise off, you'd be like, fucking Sebastian Stan is knocking out of the park. Get him in.
He is.
The only thing is you'd have scheduling issues with Marvel.
Either way, you're going to have that, Greg.
No, Chris Evans is gone.
We'll see.
That's true. We'll see. But congratulations, Greg.
Yeah.
Your reign continues.
This now puts me at the longest reign, does it?
Well, you only won last week, so no.
Was it not?
No, you had lost.
Oh, sorry, yeah, no, I lost 2 weeks ago. Sorry, yeah.
You only won it back last week, in a brown envelope game.
So put me out of my misery, please, Greg, because I need a victory. Because I think I've gone quite a while now without actually winning one, so I need to go all out on the next one. So what way am I going to try and?
Well, it's me.
Sorry, Ted. What way am I going to try and beat Greg, because I need a victory.
Right. So I had a different film in mind for
Okay.
quite a while, and I'm actually going to put that one to the side and keep it for later. Because we've obviously had someone pass away quite recently, and I think it would be silly not to go with a film of theirs. And I think
I'm highly imagining it's not Narc, is it?
It is not. I'm going to go with
No.
big
I
film.
know exactly what it is.
And it is a tough one because there's not many actors who play these type of roles as much anymore as there used to be.
No.
But it'll be Goodfellas.
All I ever wanted to be was a gangster.
Yeah, it'll be a tough
Henry
one, lads.
fucking Hill.
Yeah. It's a tough one, and if he hadn't,
Will we call it a draw, Carl?
Well, Carl said he really wants that win, so he'd be foolish to call it a draw. It is a tough one, but I think it's the right thing to do to honor the man in what I think is arguably his greatest role.
Oh, there's no arguing about that. It's his best role by a mile.
Yeah, obviously, like, share, follow us on all the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all of that stuff, and don't forget to vote on the polls when Carl puts them up on his personal Instagram, and let us know if you agree with some of our picks, agree with who Carl went with, or on the polls Carl puts up, he'll put up his own picks as well, so you can vote to see if you would agree with him. And until next week, good luck.